What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO, World Boxing Organization welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terence "Bud" Crawford, is heading into the biggest fight of his career, July 29th, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena, against undefeated, unified 3-belt WBA, WBC, IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be top 2, if not #1, definitely top 5 pound-for-pound best fighters in the world, in Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. is 28 wins, no loss, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout, 33 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. Terence Crawford is 39 wins, no loss, no draws, 30 big wins by way of knockout, 35 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. They held their second press conference Wednesday. They held their second press conference. The first one was Tuesday in Los Angeles. The second one was Wednesday in New York. And obviously they're making their rounds to promote the fight. Obviously they want to promote this fight to the best of their abilities, right? So with that said, they were on the Breakfast Club. Well, at least Terence Crawford was. Errol Spence's flight got delayed and he missed his appointment with the Breakfast Club. So, in the interview with Charlemagne and DJ Envy, Terence Crawford was asked a plethora of questions, obviously, pertaining to the fight with him and Errol Spence. Charlemagne said that he don't believe Terence Crawford could hurt Errol Spence, told Terence Crawford that to his face, I don't think you could hurt him, and I think that Errol Spence is going to win, is what Charlemagne stated. And then he asked him what was his toughest fight in his career. And Terence Crawford, before he could respond, Charlemagne said it was the guy from Lithuania. And he stated Kavaliauskas, and he said, yeah. He said he knocked you down, but it didn't count. Okay, so Terence Crawford said, I don't think he knocked me down. I think he pushed me, so on and so forth. Definitely looked like a knockdown in the fight, unofficially. But nonetheless, it didn't count, right? And so he states, was that the hardest fight? What was the hardest fight? It was Kavaliauskas, right? And Terence Crawford agreed. So Terence Crawford fought Kavaliauskas. That was December of 2019. Kavaliauskas was undefeated at the time, 21 wins, no losses, no one draw. Kavaliauskas, is 31 years of age, 5'9" with a 71-inch arm reach. So his measurables kind of measure up to that of Errol Spence, outside of Igas's orthodox fighter, Errol Spence is southpaw. He was undefeated at the time. Okay, Igas was. He had a draw to Ray Robinson, which many people thought he beat Ray Robinson. Okay, then he had 17 wins by way of knockout. So he was a viable opponent. Nobody knew who he was, and he was Terence Crawford's mandatory. And then Terence Crawford said, yeah, Kavaliauskas was my toughest fight. And then he stated also his other toughest fight was Kavaliauskas Gamboa, which he fought in June of 2014, who was 23 wins, no losses, no draws at the time when he fought Kavaliauskas Gamboa. Okay, Gamboa was top 5, top 10 pound-for-pound best fighters in the world at the time Terence Crawford fought him. But Gamboa had moved up 2 weight classes to fight Terence Crawford. He didn't jump 2 weight classes to fight Terence Crawford, but he moved up 2 weight classes, right? He didn't jump, but he fought at 122, 126, 130, and then 35 with Terence Crawford. And Terence Crawford stated his foot speed and his hand speed gave me a lot of trouble. So it took time for me to gauge the distance, calculate what he was trying to do to figure him out. And he did. He had power. And Kavaliauskas, he said, was extremely strong, had a lot of power, and very crafty. Now, obviously, he beat both of them. He beat Kavaliauskas. He beat Yuriorkis Gamboa. Okay, he knocked out Gamboa. He knocked out Kavaliauskas. So, with that said, right, it led many people to say, including Charlemagne, that if you struggle with Kavaliauskas and the power and the strength of him, and they're not Terence Crawford, and they're not Errol Spence, then essentially you in trouble, right? So many people started to hit me up, and they said he admitted Kavaliauskas Gamboa was a tough task for him, and Errol Spence is better. Yes, Errol Spence is better than Kavaliauskas, and he's better than Yuriorkis Gamboa. Errol Spence would stop both of them. It's hard to measure them. Well, it's hard to measure Gamboa with Errol Spence because Gamboa is in lower weight class. That was at 135. Okay. So since that fight was at 135, Errol Spence started his career at 154. Now he made a name for himself at 147. So it's hard to gauge and say, well, how would Errol Spence match up against Gamboa? Clearly, I feel like he would just walk right through Gamboa, but it's hard to measure because we're talking about Errol Spence. All I know is Errol Spence being bigger, stronger, fundamentally sound, disciplined, and high work rate. So I can't even imagine him fighting Yuriorkis Gamboa at all whatsoever. I can picture Terence Crawford fighting Yuriorkis Gamboa because he started his career at 130. So I don't even see that being a viable matchup. Like I didn't even see. Now, at one point in time, a major fight was 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer Mikey Garcia versus Yuriorkis Gamboa. That was a super fight in the making that never happened because Mikey Garcia has issues with Top Rank and Bob Arum, so on and so forth. Now, Errol Spence did fight Mikey Garcia, and he dominated Mikey Garcia, in my opinion. He won every single round against Mikey Garcia outside of maybe the first round. So it's just simply hard. Now, when it comes to Kavaliauskas and Errol Spence, who's a 147 pounder, I don't see Errol Spence having the same trouble and issues with Kavaliauskas that Terence Crawford had. Now, the triangle theory doesn't work, and Errol Spence never fought Igas, but I think that Errol Spence would dominate Kavaliauskas. Styles make fights, though. The style and the approach of Errol Spence would just be way too much for Kavaliauskas. He would break him down. But now, remember, Kavaliauskas fought Virgil Ortiz Jr., who was 19 wins, no loss, no draw, 19 wins by way of knockout, 5'10" with a 70-inch arm reach. And he blasted Virgil Ortiz twice. Looked like he was on the verge of possibly knocking out Virgil Ortiz. It didn't happen, but it looked like he was on the verge of possibly knocking out Virgil Ortiz, right? So we know he has power. But Virgil ended up knocking him out like Terence Crawford ended up knocking him out. Terence Crawford took a lot of chances with Kavaliauskas. As he stated, I didn't listen to my team. I didn't listen to my corner. I was undisciplined. I just wanted to fight. I had a chip on my shoulder. I was angry. And I wanted to fight. And that's what he did. And he left himself vulnerable. He fought emotional. And if you fight emotional against Errol Spence, you're going to be in trouble. Hence the reason why I said that Terence Crawford has to be disciplined in his fight. He has to be a boxer. He cannot fight this fight emotional and want to prove a point. Gotta let it come. If the knockout and the stoppage against Errol Spence is gonna happen, you gotta let it come to you. You gotta be a boxer first. Get to the finish line. You can't want to get emotional because this is such a big fight. So many people said that you was afraid, you was ducking, you was holding up the fight. You want to prove a point, and you get in there and mix it up and fight with him. As he stated to Charlemagne, how do you know Errol Spence is stronger than me? And Charlemagne said, well, because he's bigger. and he just looks stronger. And Terence Crawford said, well, that's not an indication that he's stronger. You can't have that mindset to want to fight with Errol Spence. You got to box Errol Spence if Terence Crawford going to be successful. And you got to listen to your corner. He can't be undisciplined like he was with Kavaliauskas. So many people hit me up. They said, listen, if he struggled with Gamboa and he struggled with Kavaliauskas, how's he going to fare with Errol Spence? And you're right. But the triangle theory doesn't work in the sport of boxing. Right? We saw Vernon Forrest lose twice to Ricardo Mayorga. We saw Shane Mosley knock out Mayorga twice. And then we saw Vernon Forrest beat and dominate Shane Mosley twice. So the triangle theory doesn't work. But you can take nuances from those fights and apply them to the future fights, like this one, the unknown. And so with that said, if Terence Crawford fights this fight emotional against Errol Spence, he's going to lose. He's going to lose because Kavaliauskas was getting the best of him. The difference is the cream rises to the top. So Kavaliauskas couldn't outlast him. Errol Spence is on the same level as Terence Crawford. So he'll be able to go stay at that level or go above. And so that's what Terence Crawford can't afford. He got to fight discipline. He got to fight under control. He has to fight like he fought Victor Postol and how he fought Jose Benavidez Jr. Those are the blueprints for Terence Crawford to be successful against Errol Spence. If he fights emotionally, he's going to lose. Errol Spence is a southpaw. It takes away his southpaw advantage. Hence the reason why I asked both of them about the southpaw stance. That's extremely important because that gives you an advantage. It makes you comfortable. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But is that an admission that he'll fight Errol Spence emotionally because of the naysayers? It very well could be, but he very well can't do it. So let's see how it unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.